Through the rise of the internet, there are often trends in fashion and lifestyle that arise from online culture. For example, the Tumblr girl of the early 2010s, the art hoe of 2017 and 2018, and the Visco girl of 2019. These trends tend to be primarily fashion. Think the oversized t-shirt, Birkenstocks, and scrunchies of the Visco girl. The current form of this trend is that girl. So, that girl. We all know that girl, right? She's put together and dedicated to her health. She gets up at the crack of dawn to work out. She drinks green tea and lemon water. She journals and reads. She eats super healthy, and she doesn't care what other people think of her. That girl is unique in that she is not primarily a fashion trend. Sure, she has her matching workout sets and nice shoes, but there is nothing as unique as the trends that preceded her. Rather, that girl is all about lifestyle. She's all about taking care of yourself, accepting yourself, and not caring what others think. Because of this, that girl is seen as an improvement on her predecessors because anyone can be that girl. Except they can't. It takes about 30 seconds of scrolling through Pinterest or TikTok to see that there are a few common threads that link every that girl you see. They're all white, able-bodied, and with their matching sets and massive apartments, money obviously is not a concern for her. This is extremely harmful no matter how you look at it. That girl is seen as someone you should strive to be. And if you don't look like every other that girl on the internet, you'll think you'll never be able to live up to that, which is terrible. However, that girl has started to warp the definition of self-care due to its prevalence as a lifestyle, creating the idea that to be able to properly take care of yourself, you must perfectly match the aesthetic of that girl, which is dangerous when most people just can't. A Google search brings up this definition of self-care: the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health, or the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. Something I know many of us can relate to is scouring Pinterest for self-care tips after a stressful day, which usually included lists that said things like, do a face mask or take a bubble bath. Now, when you search the same thing, you'll still get many of these same posts, but scattered among them are posts with the backdrop of that girl advertising similar tips. She'll say, eat what makes you feel good, on a shot of a worryingly small meal that wouldn't energize anyone. She says, keep a journal, with a shot of her filling out the 5-minute journal, which costs nearly $30 from Urban Outfitters. She proclaims, get moving in the morning, with a shot of her working out in her Aloe Yoga matching set, which costs like $200. Side note, and trigger warning for content about eating disorders. As I was searching for images for this video, a lot of the posts I was coming across were basically just body checks. If you don't know, body checking is common in people with eating disorders, where someone will repeatedly check certain parts of their body to basically make sure that their body is shaped the way they want it to be. And some people will take pictures and post them on social media under the disguise of a fitness journey. These images can be very triggering to people who have dealt with an eating disorder, so skip ahead if these bother you. This kind of thing is really not okay. These had me really shaken up, and the ones shown aren't even the worst of what I came across. If these can do that to someone who is several years recovered from their eating disorder, I can't imagine what it would do to someone in the pits of one. So, sorry for the really heavy stuff there. What I wanted to get at was, all of these posts create this idea that to be truly taking care of yourself, you have to look like those girls. And the majority of women just can't. Matthew Glowyak, clinical faculty at Southern New Hampshire University, says it best. In a society in which people are expected to work long hours and pass on vacation days, there's an underlying belief that we must always be productive, which can ultimately take away from opportunities for self-care. But by taking some time out to engage in self-care, you may relieve the pressures of everyday life and reset yourself to get back to a healthy point where productivity is once again maximized. Considering the costs associated with mental health services, lost wages, and more, spending some time on yourself may ultimately benefit everyone. Burning the candle at both ends, so to speak, comes with significant consequences, which may include but are not limited to burnout, anxiety, resentment, and a whole host of other negative implications. Engaging in a self-care routine has been clinically proven to reduce or eliminate anxiety and depression, reduce stress, improve concentration, minimize frustration and anger, increase happiness, improve energy, and more. From a physical health perspective, self-care has been clinically proven to reduce heart disease, stroke, and cancer. Spiritually, it may help us in tune with our higher power as we realize our meaning in life. I couldn't find his citations, but here are some research papers that back up what he was saying. Self-care is essential for mental and physical health, and that girl is making that inaccessible to many people. Self-care does not have to look like a that girl day in the life. If you already wake up super early to work out, the best form of self-care could be taking a day off and sleeping in. If you had a bad day at work, pizza might be much more therapeutic to you than a salad, and that's okay. Self-care could mean letting yourself cry, cuddling with your pets, spending time with your loved ones, watching your favorite TV show, or even just taking some time to do absolutely nothing. For me personally, after a long week of classes, this is the best form of self-care. I'll play for like 3 hours on a Friday night, and it is always the most refreshing thing ever. And if a full Batgirl routine is the best form of self-care for you, then just know that you don't have to look exactly like every other Batgirl on the internet for it to be working. Burnout is a serious problem in a society that demands productivity 24/7, and self-care counteracts it. So it can be whatever you need it to be. It doesn't have to be perfect and aesthetically pleasing.